Hey everybody, it's Jenny Civey. Welcome to our new video series for our data center group, NSW PEP. This is NSW PEP Talks. So last week I talked about data center reliability, so I thought it'd be good this week to follow up with answering the question, what are the data center tiers? So let's get started. The data center tier classification system is used to describe specific kinds of data center infrastructure in a consistent way. It was created by the Uptime Institute. The Uptime Institute is a global digital infrastructure authority. They are an unbiased advisory organization focused on improving the performance, efficiency, and reliability of data center infrastructure. So let's move this over and look at the tiers. There are 4 tiers. Tier 1 is the simplest infrastructure, and Tier 4 is the most complex. Each tier includes all of the required components of all the tiers before it. So Tier 1 is basic capacity. A Tier 1 data center has a single path for power and cooling. Site-wide shutdowns are required for maintenance or repair work. Capacity or distribution failures will impact the site. It has an expected uptime of 99.671%, which comes out to 28.8 hours of downtime per year. Before we go to Tier 2, let me scoot this over and talk about capacity and distribution failures. The capacity failure is when the data center runs out of resources like power, cooling, or space to support the servers and the equipment inside. If you imagine your phone running out of battery because you've been using it too much, that's kind of the same thing. A data center might not have enough power or cooling to keep everything running smoothly if it's overloaded. A distribution failure is when there's an issue with how power or cooling is delivered to the different parts of the data center. Even if there's enough power or cooling available, it might not reach all the servers due to a problem with the distribution systems. It'd be like if your house has enough electricity, but a blown fuse means you can't turn your lights on. So let's move this back now and look at Tier 2. Tier 2, redundant capacity components. A Tier 2 data center has a single path for power and cooling and some redundant and backup components. Site-wide shutdowns for maintenance are still required. Capacity failures may impact the site, while distribution failures will impact the site. It has an expected uptime of 99.741% or 22 hours of downtime a year. Now let's move this over and look at Tier 3. Tier 3, concurrently maintainable. A Tier 3 data center has multiple paths for power and cooling. It also has systems in place to update and maintain it without taking it offline. Each and every capacity component and distribution path in a site can be removed on a planned basis for maintenance or replacement without impacting the operations of the data center. The site is still exposed to an equipment failure or operator error, and it has an expected uptime of 99.982%, which gives you about 1.6 hours of downtime a year. Let's move this over and look at Tier 4, fault tolerant. A Tier 4 data center is built to be completely fault tolerant. It has redundancy for every component. An individual equipment failure or distribution path interruption will not impact the operations. A fault-tolerant site is also concurrently maintainable. It has an expected uptime of 99.995%, which is 26.3 minutes of downtime annually. Not every data center needs to be a Tier 4. The data center owner needs to determine if the extra 0.371% of uptime is going to impact the business enough versus the cost of getting to that next tier. For a lot of small and medium-sized businesses, 22 hours of downtime is acceptable, and they can't afford the costs associated with the redundancy needed to reach Tier 3 or 4. So let's pull all this back on screen. So that's data center tiers. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, and thanks for watching.